Hello, this is Ki from RunScore. Today we'll be covering some basics of the use of RunScore. Once you've installed it, we're going to look today at the preferences. We're going to select Tools, Preferences, and notice we have several selections on the left side and several variables we can put in on the right. First thing we're going to talk about is the auto increment bib numbers. Thus, if you type in a bib number and a record and hit F10 or F12, it will advance to a new record with the next bib number in sequence. This can be very useful when you're typing in a bunch of records that have sequential bib numbers. The save bibs in ASCII means that this will create an FNA with the for each event, and that is the ASCII listing or screen that will allow you to actually see the bib numbers in straight ASCII text. This is very useful for certain things in the future, so I would highly recommend you use this. Save all results. When you save results, this will save all results. So if you're in one result screen for, say, time, you hit F10, it will actually save all of your events. Display fractional times. This will be in your results screens. It will show the fractional times, not rounded up to the next highest second. New switch is only for use with a USB switch to use RunScore as a full timing. You'll go ahead and look at help for that more in the future, but I wouldn't worry about it right now. F9 clears fields. F9 will go ahead and if you're in a record, it will actually create a new record and clear all the fields for what you're ready to type into. Time from enter key on the time machine. Again, that's something that most people won't use, but you can review the help on that a little bit more to use it in the future. I myself like to auto enable the external timer on startup. So that is, whenever I start up any of my external devices that are defined in my initialized external timers, will actually start up and be ready to use. This is very helpful if you have a crash and you're in the middle of a race. This will bring you right back up into, say, ChronoTrack Live, or ChronoTrack, any of the other systems that you've got hooked up to get your transponder data and such. Lock keyboard on a problem. I recommend this when you're typing in and you get a problem. A lot of my typists will go ahead and continue typing and not notice that there was a ding or anything else, and they're just filling the queue. Pop up for duplicates. If you have a duplicate record while you're doing stuff, this is very helpful. I go ahead and use that all the time. Some people don't like to have that on, but we'll show you where to review it and help to get more information. The enter is same as tab. I like all of my databases that allow me to hit enter to tab to the next or sequence to the next record. That's why I like to use the enter is same as tab. If you just want to force the person to use tab every time, you can go ahead and deselect that. Use the record numbers in the enter, edit page up and page down. I like to go ahead and use everything as the bib number, so I leave this unchecked. The merge errors to file mergeprob.txt. I find this very useful. When you have merge problems that you've got duplicates, all the other stuff, this will send it to the file mergeprob.txt. And I usually don't select the no pop-up on merge errors, but it's one of those things you might want to use. You can review that a little bit later. For people with very early or inexperienced typists, Sometimes you like to have that must arm to delete or clear and edit names. This way that the person typing in has to go ahead and hit the control and the F2 to delete that record. I, as an experienced user, and most of my typists don't like that. Pop up on delete and edit results. This is a nice thing to say. Are you sure you want to delete a results line, time, or such, so you don't accidentally get rid of some of your results that you would have to re-download from a transponder system or from an external timer. The other thing is we want to check for records changed. If you start to exit out of a record or you start to exit out, if you've got changes in that record, it'll ask you if you want to save that before exiting. That's kind of important as far as I'm concerned. Listing beep. I like, whenever I run a listing, I like to hear a beep so that I know that it's actually happening. The editor type ahead is, I don't use that here. That'll allow you to do type aheads for any fields you're typing in. We'll go ahead and give you a drop down list of additional information in that field. I like to handle that fields at a time in my enter and edit name screen, and go ahead and use that under preferences there. That'll happen just as I'm using it or for that race. This is a global for RunScore. The edit results bibs and times mode. This can be selected here or in your INI. We'll discuss that later. The languages, you have several choices for language here, and these, as it says, it supports only the following functions. Most people don't use this, but the newest RunScore that will be out later will handle the full use of foreign characters and such. This is a simple limitation, limited function for that. Okay, one of the most important things is to declare an alternate folder to save results. What I do is RunScore should always be under the root of your hard drive. I have all of my programs on the C drive for operating system. My D drive, which is a separate drive, has all of my programs and their functions. So I installed RunScore on the D drive. It creates a common folder, and in one of the previous videos I showed you that I recommend you type in save as a folder to save your results and alternate folder to save your entries. This will allow all your results screens to be saved there when you do an F10, and any major saves on your DTA or your internet name screen will go ahead and save it, the DTA to here. Number of rows for enter edit names. This you'll experiment with to see the size of your screen. This controls the number of rows. It will not affect the number of columns. Those are set. Maximum difference for selects. I go ahead and put 2 seconds in there, and it's only if you're using the full select function that will be used and be the function for. Minutes for autosave. In the old days, we used to do this at a higher number because in the DOS days and the old machine days, you didn't have much processor capability and storage. So now under current Windows, I set that to autosave every 1 minute, and it saves those results and the enter and edit name screen every 1 minute in the background. HTML character width, we can review that a little bit more in help, but I set that as a basic 13 so that my HTML character sets and everything look correct. The unrecognized runner number. If somebody types in a bib number that's in a result that's not found, This will go ahead and say that I've set it up to be 0 as my unrecognized or bandit number. The next two important things are the server TCP port. This is the port that we'll be using to connect RunScore server and RunScore client together with. And I recommend anything over 33,000 just to deconflict with most other programs. The external editor location, there are two editors in RunScore. When you go to a listing file and click on edit, or you use the edit icon, you will go into the internal editor on RunScore and you will see that blue line for your scripting and such. On all of my output to the editor, I want it to go to a fancier editor, and I send that to right here. I'm calling my textpad.exe, and that's just a nice, simple, very good editor that I can use in all other cases. The printer controls. The old heads hardly ever use the printer dialog box. For all of you used to Windows, it's very important to select the printer dialog box and to set where the position for your pages numbers at the bottom, and the default monospace font, which normally would be Courier New. And there are other several monospace fonts in Windows that will allow you to change the output of all your programs, or pardon me, not your programs, your listings. Okay, if you have any questions on all this, very easy to go into help, type in preferences, list the topics, go to preferences, and you'll notice all the information that I just covered will be found there, and it shows you a couple examples of two different types of fonts in a listing output. If you have any questions on this, feel free to contact us. We'll cover this and other basic and advanced functions in subsequent videos, and we hope to hear from you soon. Take care and good night.